Hey, Mike Healy here with another episode of the Cloud Investing Podcast. I am so excited to have my special guest on here, become a good friend of mine, Jeffrey Berger. Jeffrey Berger is the perfect person for this episode because he is a former software engineer and he's also heavily investing into different verticals such as gold and silver, crypto, things like that. And it's really exciting. I've been waiting to get this on here. I know we've worked out some scheduling and to get it on here, but Jeff, say hi to everybody.
Hey, everybody. Glad to be here, Mike. Thanks for inviting me. Appreciate it.
No problem. Now, here's what I'm going to ask somebody right now that's maybe even as a first time listener. What if you could find a way to get involved in making money through the units that are inside data centers? I know that sounds weird, but we've all seen the explosion of data centers globally because that's where all technology has to get stored in what they call the cloud. And
Right.
we have the ability, we already figured it out to be able to buy units inside these storage places, kind of from a decentralized perspective. And they pay us royalties for the data that's being pushed on these servers. How cool is that? So I'm asking you guys that question as you're listening to this. Just keep that in the back of your mind as we cover this. So, Jeff, why don't you give everybody just real quick, kind of a brief background of who you are so people kind of can know who you are, where you're at, that kind of thing. And then I'll start throwing some questions at you.
Sure. Absolutely. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. So I am an ex-software engineer of 27 years in the industry. I left in 2015 from total burnout. And over the last, since then, basically, I have been doing a lot of my own soul searching and became a certified holistic wellness coach for about 5 years. And about 2 years ago, I really started to look heavily into the decentralized world, which is where everything is going. And today I am a certified holistic coach with a finance first approach to achieving overall encompassing wellness and true wealth. And this is what I'm here to do, is provide value about this new world that we're entering into, the decentralization of systems that is happening behind most of our backs, but some of us already know about that. So there you go.
Absolutely. Now, I think we were having a conversation not too long ago, and you had me one time as a guest on one of
Correct.
your things. Share with people like you've got a big audience. You're already out there publicly. You've got your own podcast, TV show. Tell people some about that as well.
Sure. So I actually started in 2000, about 2.5 years ago, and it's called Holistic. It was actually Holistic Physical and Mental Fitness. And I focused on, basically gut health, focusing on the microbiome, which is the gut, brain, heart, axis health. And I talked about physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, but I never spoke about finances. And finances really came up about 2 years ago because a lot of us are stressed out because of finances today. And I missed the Bitcoin era in 2009, 2010. I was offered 500 coins at like 0.0017 and said it was not going to work. It was going to be a farce. And in 2017 is when I kind of woke up to this cryptocurrency and started to really start educating myself day by day. And 2 years ago, I flipped over and really saw that this is where it's going. And there's a big need here for decentralization and the access of, data, because data is where everything is going today.
So perfect segue since we're leading into this in your background. So in essence, I kind of started this podcast to begin with not too long ago to kind of start to educate people on
Mhm.
what we believe. And I remember my friend Terry, Terry,
Right.
brought up what they call megatrends. Megatrends being in the internet, the invention of the internet was a megatrend. Like the cell phones was a megatrend. Then crypto has been a megatrend. And we're starting to really realize and believe that the next big one, big one, is data centers or cloud
Correct.
storage and the ability to tap into that. But most of us don't have billions of dollars to throw at
Right.
these centers. But there are companies now that we found that are allowing us to partner with them. And we can go in and kind of fractionalize purchase units inside these data centers that pay us royalties for allowing the rental of that storage. So the thing is if the income that we make is all based on, is there enough data out there to fill these units that makes it worth
Mm.
our while? And so take your time on this one. But Jeff, do you think there's enough data being pushed out there that will fill these centers pretty quick? So go ahead.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? I actually wrote down some bullet points here. I do want to read them off regarding this data because, I was grew up in the era of the when I was introduced to computers, we had the flip cards, the punch cards, we pushed them in. Then we went to the floppy disks, the hard disks. There was no internet. So I've gone through that evolution. But very quickly, it's estimated that 90% of the world's data was generated in the last 2 years. Stored data industry is growing 5 times faster than the world economy. That is massive.
Wow.
85% of organizations will be cloud first by 2025. That's next year. Okay. And then cloud computing market is to be worth about $2.4 billion by 2023. So yeah, there's a huge need for data, and knowing with regards to the decentralization and the blockchain technology, this stores data. And this is data that can't be changed once it's put onto the computer. So, is there going to be a need for data centers for growth on that? Absolutely. Look at Amazon and some of these other large companies that are storing tons and tons of data. So the need is there, and there's great opportunity. Absolutely.
Now, speaking of Amazon, what's funny is a lot of people don't know this, but I'm actually an Amazon influencer, meaning I get paid to do product reviews for them. And obviously, you understand, everybody knows how big and massive globally Amazon is.
Sure.
But I did not realize that just the product market that they make money from is a tiny, tiny part. And
Yes.
their big money maker is the AWS, the actual data storage,
Correct.
right?
Right.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
that's insane.
I learned that about 3 months ago.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
know. I didn't know that. And it's shocking. So let's go on to the whole so basically, for people that are listening, we have the ability for, like, right now, at the low entry mark that we have is about 15 grand to go in, and we have the ability to buy these units. Now, we don't have to put them in our house or garage or anything like that. They're literally stored in secure facilities that also house like Amazon servers, and centers like that, Facebook, Google, that kind of thing. And by us owning them, and like back to the decentralized,
Mhm.
fractionalized ownership, we get paid the royalties. And these, for that one time, kind of purchase of that software, that lasts as much as 5 to 7 years of royalty payments on us renting that out to people. When you heard about this for the first time, give me kind of an idea of what you thought. Like, did it really jump out to you because of your background, or did it make sense, or was, or you, and obviously because of what you made with the comment earlier about how you denied that Bitcoin and crypto was going to go anywhere. Now here we are; it's massive.
Right.
What,
Right.
what what was your first reaction when you heard this?
Yeah, so great question. And the initial, when I heard this first, it was like, wow, this is the light bulbs went off. And I'm an ambassador for a global real estate fractional ownership company, and that's all about residual income. And as the industry grows, so does the value of your investment. I saw this immediately when Mike introduced this to me, and there's great opportunity here. So I think that people, my recommendation for people is to really step into their uncomfortable zone and really start looking into educating yourself about where this world is going. Because to be honest with you, decentralization is the distribution of power and wealth away from centralized authority. And it comes with a lot of benefits, and it really allows individuals and businesses to really tap into potential new investment opportunities, as well as adapt to the changing needs of the world. And the world is changing. And if people don't wake up to that reality, they're going to be left behind. So we're in the pioneering era of all of this happening today. And with that data growth, 90% of data over the last 2 years is tremendous. Think about it over the next 3 to 5 years, up to 10 years. So there's a great opportunity here.
Now let's transition because we threw out a bunch of kind of nerdy stuff there,
Yep.
obviously, because we want to make sure that people kind of understand that what it is,
Sure.
data is being stored on these units.
Right.
From a mindset perspective, let's talk about that for a second. When did you in your career start to study like owning assets? Because that's really what this is. Did it make sense to you? Were you ever taught that in school? Did you go to college
Mhm.
for it? At your software engineer job, were they teaching you how to be wealthy? What was the kind of the transition or the aha moment that you had to figure out a way to get your money to start making money for you?
Right. So that's a great question. And no, I didn't learn it in school, because in school they teach you to become robots and work for them and fill the pockets of the corporate America. So when I really started to wake up is when, between 9/11 and 2008, which was the real estate crash here in the United States, I lost over $900,000 in my retirement portfolio. So that was a wake up call. And it was at that time that I started to really look at different options to monetize what I could get back in return. And in 2017 is when cryptocurrency information started to come across, different feeds and different articles, so forth and so on. And when I said no to Bitcoin back in 2009, 2010, and this came across in 2017, that's when I made the decision. I have to get into my uncomfortable zone to start learning about this and understanding the principles, so I can know more as this world evolves into this blockchain technology, because that is where all business is going in the future. So, and that's when the change really, really happened, was 2017.
Wow. So I did. I didn't do it. I listened just this morning to because I couldn't get on there last night. That there was an interview with Terry and Travis, who both of
Oh
them.
yeah,
I don't know if you
absolutely.
got to hear it or
No,
anything
I
yet.
didn't.
I'll forward it to you. But
Great.
it was really amazing, because then they had some other people. They had one of the founders of the data centers that we're working with, and he was explaining that they have gaming companies already lined up for
Yeah,
data.
that's
Uh,
huge.
yeah, they have the AI companies that are already lined up. They've
Yeah.
got hosting, like web hosting companies ready and lined up. And it's literally, what's cool is there's literally like this time sensitive time window crunch for us to get these units out there. That's again why I'm doing this, is to just get the awareness out here, because a rising tide lifts all ships.
Yeah,
But we're getting people to get these units really, really fast. And now the data is going to be pushed on these. What's cool about it is, and this is obviously not a get rich quick, and this is, and my disclaimer, which has been running on the ticker below, is this is for entertainment and education purposes only. We're not
yeah,
financial advisors. We're not giving
right.
financial advice, and seek somebody out who's a professional at this. But we're just trying to educate you, or just get you curious to start doing some due diligence. And when I heard some of the stuff that they were talking about last night of those gaming companies and everything, they literally are like concerned that we're not gonna have enough units sold fast enough because of the demand for data. To me,
Yeah,
that's like amazing. I mean, I've had some great conversations with people that are literally, even though a single unit is like 15 grand, some of these guys are considering dropping six figures and even as much as seven
right.
figures, because they're understanding what the potential is there. And it's just amazing to me. What would you go ahead? You get something? Go ahead, say
Yeah,
something.
no, I was going to say that, you talk about these guys and, businesses coming in with six figures, seven figures. Yeah, that is astonishing. However, what I've learned, knowing over the last couple of weeks with regards to this, is that people like myself, any ordinary person can come in at a reasonable price to start investing and getting involved with this technology as it's getting, really launching, because we're still in that launch state. If I can use those words, as far as a launching. So we're just again, pioneering. And if you're pioneering thinking, forward thinking, trend setting thinking, this is a great time to really start looking at, the possibility. If this is for you, great. If it's not for you, that's fine too.
Thank you for saying that, because I knew there was something else to my last comment. I just couldn't get it out of my skull. Um, what's nice is there's really, it's basically a ramp up period, because
Right.
data has to get pushed on these servers. So the servers have to
Exactly.
be installed once you purchase them.
Right.
Servers are installed at the locations. You get your unit. You basically, you're pretty much an owner of it, and it's, they have them. I think the first one they have right now is outside of L.A., where the data center is.
Right.
Next one I heard is going to be down either by Miami or Atlanta, or even both,
Mm,
because that'll also give us a gateway into South America. And I know they're probably considering somewhere up by New York was another place that they're looking at getting more units, or centers that they can have the units in. But we're noticing, or what the projection is it'll be about a 4 to 6 month ramp up period, where
right.
somebody's going to go, be happy with what they're seeing coming in on a monthly basis. And some of us have already been paid out on this stuff. It was a little bit, but it's a little bit is awesome. And the way
It
I've
starts
looked,
somewhere.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
A little bit is better than nothing. And we believe that based on the speed and release of AI technology and all that stuff, the demand is there. And if you have a service or a product that there's a high demand for, it's not hard to really market it, because there's no
Right.
marketing to it. It's
Right.
like we are having, because we are a smaller conglomerate, I guess you could say, we have the ability to offer that storage cheaper in most cases than
Yes.
some of the big boys.
Yes.
And then I
And
did hear this, and there's a thing that I did hear on
mhm,
the call, that there's some of these companies like I'm sorry, Amazon and Google and Facebook. A lot of times they're outgrowing their servers for the demand
right.
that they have, and they're actually finding other people that have
Mm,
units and renting off of them, and even
nice.
potentially outright buying their units. And they mentioned this so I'm not just making this up. That really tripped my trigger last night when I heard that.
Yeah.
What say you, Jeff?
Yeah. So, if I remember correctly, I think it's the Los Angeles site is about 80% sold out. So, and this is just a couple of weeks or maybe 2 to 3 months now. So, yeah, this is going to be growing exponentially quite rapidly. And I'm excited about what is happening with this and where they're expanding. And hopefully, it'll be in Miami, because I'm in Southwest Florida. I can drive over to Miami and check out the data center. But yes, data centers are going to be, a thing of the future and a need. It's actually going to be a need because of this new transition from the internet into Web3, because this is where all this is happening. Web3, we're kind of graduating from, non-internet to internet up to Web2, Web3, and that's where we are now in regards to this technology. And the technology
What
is growing faster and faster.
what's Web3 mean? I
So
actually don't
Web3,
know. I've heard of it a bunch of times. I just don't know what that means.
so Web3 is a technology to where the blockchain can be developed on.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's more on the blockchain, because blockchain is it's a ledger where transactions cannot be manipulated. Where in a non blockchain technology where we have today is what I'm all about, circumventing the system, medical and financial, because today the way we're set up, those ledgers can be manipulated and changed, where once you're on the blockchain and we migrate to that, there is more transparency and less likelihood of corruption, and there's more security. So once a transaction is done, it's done. You can't change it. And then we go and move forward to it. You can sell it, you can keep it, whatever, depending on what industry you're in.
To me, that's just it's kind of a breath of fresh air to finally see that we're
Yeah,
pretty much on the precipice of a real breakthrough, and like the decentralized thing. That's like
right, right.
it goes to kind of the people's money.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
here's the other thing on another conversation, another part of this is what a lot of people are doing with getting educated and then participating with the data center stuff
Mm.
is they're really just looking for another way to protect their assets.
Right.
Because if we look around, Jeff, are things looking good financially for people, or are people going to have to really start making hard decisions? Like, is Social Security
I
going to be there, all that kind of stuff?
Well, that's even a bigger question. So I think that we have to become the CEOs of our life and really take control, because my financial planner for years said, "Oh, be patient, because the market will come around." And I'm like, 2 years ago, when we lost $75,000, I said, "Dude, I'm going to be 70 in 2 years. I don't have time to wait." So the industry is changing, the world is changing, and if you look behind the scenes, you've got BlackRock, you've got J.P. Morgan, you've got Wells Fargo. They're all creating their own cryptocurrency. They're creating their own coins, and digital currency is going to be the future. And I know a lot of people are scared of it. Yeah, I was too. But step into your uncomfortable zone, because this is where the future lies, especially when it comes to finances. And you've got all of these major corporations that are converting over to the digital world. We've got the medical systems. We've got some of the bigger financial systems that are doing this now. So I know there's a lot of news out there saying don't, but over there, they're saying don't, but over here, you're not looking over here, and they're making all the changes back here while you're still looking over here. And one day they're going to come over to here and say, guess what? Surprise, we're all digital now. So yeah, definitely start doing your own due diligence and looking into it. There are a lot of scams out there. You have to be very careful, and I'm sure Mike can provide you some information in regards to what to look for. I can as well. I got scammed for $123,000 in my first, rodeo, if you will, in this industry. But I've learned since then what to look for, and there's some key points with that.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Jeff, thank you so much for being on here. We hit my normal time limit. I try to get on here, keep these
Awesome.
fairly brief, so I can get these out as fast as possible to other listeners and everything like that.
Super.
Really appreciate you being on here. Stay right there, Jeff, and I'm going to
Thank
just
you.
close it out real quick.
Okay.
So thank you guys for another episode. Hopefully you got something out of this. Feel free to reach out to myself or Jeff or any of the other people that I've had as guests on here that you can get some information from, because this thing is really picking up some speed. And again, if you'll do today what others won't, you can live tomorrow like others can't. So my name is Mike Healy. Thanks again, and I'll see you on the next one.